This is Shannon with For Humanities, and we're here on this Wednesday. So, of course, today is Women in Alignment Wednesday. But what we're going to be doing is talking about the power of influence, and we're going to kind of go over just a few things. Nothing, really heavy that you guys wouldn't be able to take away, but we are going to kind of cover that. So, for those of you guys who are here, I am Shannon with For Humanities. I am the co founder of For Humanities, the online t shirt company. We design and create social conscious t shirts that spark social change and restore humanity. So, our goal is, of course, to help you look good, but at the same time, making sure that your social presence is definitely identified and people are clear on who you are and what your brand represents. So if that's definitely something that you are wanting to acquire, then you would want to work with us so that we can support you with your brand through fashion. So recently, just the other day, I put up a post that said if you were interested in doing a T-shirt fundraiser, and some folks responded, and just to understand what it is. Now let's just kind of just be very clear. you know Things are at a cost. There's a cost for everything. So the fundraiser is like any other fundraiser. You provide a product or a service or what have you, but in this case we're going to be providing a product, and then your responsibility or the job is to get your community that supports you to purchase the t-shirt. And as they purchase the t-shirt, then that's where the funds comes in and they get generated. And then that's where you get your support as far as the target that you're reaching. And then as the company, we get the cost that it will cost to provide the service. So but it's a win-win for everybody. So that's how the t-shirt fundraisers go. If you are interested in finding out more about it, you can inbox me and let me know how that works. We develop a proposal for you and let you read it to see how the split would go. And then if that's something that you are interested in doing for your organization or your business, because a fundraiser is for everybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a nonprofit. So just so that you're clear, you don't have to be a nonprofit to raise funds. So you just have to have a determination, and you do need some support. Folks who are interested in purchasing the shirt that you have to help you raise the funds towards the goal that you're doing. Like for me, some of you guys know we were raising funds for Hondo. Hondo apparently got hit, hurt, something, and his leg was all messed up, and it was going to cost a lot. But as we found out more about it, and he went to a different doctor after the first $700, then it was like, okay, now we have to go and do more. So Hondo still has to go to the doctor. He still have to go get his bandages replaced, which is like $100 each time. So, dogs are expensive. So, my son has to figure this out with this dog. So, moving right along. So again, that was a little bit about the fundraiser that I posted earlier for those who are interested in doing a fundraiser. Right now is a great time to do a fundraiser, and you don't have to do t-shirts. You could do tanks, you could do dresses, you could do t-shirt dresses. So if you don't know what those are, there's so many things that you could do. It doesn't have to be a t-shirt. You could do like half tops, halter tops. You can do sweatsuit workout dillies. You could do all of that. There's so many things that you could do. So it's not only confined or only held to only t-shirts. So it's anything that you could print something on. So let's just, make that clear. It's all types of apparel and accessories that you could do as the fundraiser. And the great thing is that I got some great ideas that can stimulate and get people interested. And just to name of one, you could do a package deal where you got a phone case, you got the little dilly dolly that goes on the back of the phones. I don't even know what that thing is. I don't have one. But you could put things together, and that could be part of your package. You could do decals. There's so much you could do when you pop these things together. So if you're interested in learning more, inbox me about the t-shirt fundraiser is what we're just going to call it. But again, as I said, you could put many things to it. So for those of you guys who are here, I am functioning or working on Restream, as you guys can see. So I can't see you guys if you're sitting there. You have to say something because it doesn't show me. So if you pop something in the chat, then I will be able to see where you are coming from and be able to say hey to you. So moving right on into today's broadcast, we're talking about influence and the power of influence. So Women in Alignment Wednesday today is talking about influence. And one of the things, as you know, is that the psychology behind influence is definitely is very influential because again, you want to look at the fact that when you are an influencer or you're someone that people look up to, it doesn't really matter where you are or what's going on. You are influencing somebody. And the one thing that we look at is that as we get closer and people get closer to us, we find that eventually, unlike any other attempts that our influence is, we require that you have to be conscious of it. You definitely need to be conscious of why you have that ability to influence people. What is it about you that people look up to? Do you have something? You know what, even folks that we may not necessarily think are in the best lights have are influencers. They influence people, and it happens a lot. So for those of us who are not understanding, the power of influence has a lot to do with people wanting to be a part of something, people not feeling that they are connected, or they may not necessarily feel that they are valued in their circles. So what better way to be in a surrounding that make you feel that you are wanted and that you are important. So usually, of course, what that will do is it does have a lot too also to deal with the person individually where they may be feeling inadequate, or they're feeling and or they're going through a few things that doesn't make them feel like they're at the best performance that they can. So usually in time, there's lifelong things that have happened. There's disappointments. There's just things that they weren't able to, get to that point or arrive at that level of where they wanted to be. There's, again, as I said, disappointment. There's where they can't feel adequate about things, or there's also childhood traumas that have taken place in their lives. And we have to kind of keep those things in mind when we're thinking about why people get influenced either in the right direction or in the wrong direction, whichever way you want to look at it. Why does that happen? So we have to understand influence, and you never know who's watching, and someone is always watching, whether you're a child or you're a sibling or a spouse, your friend, strangers. If the strangers see you enough, then you could definitely be an influence for them. We have to look at the emotions in the inner life states that transmit like anything that can spread. Our words, our actions, even from, the quietest, smallest thing, nothing can encourage us like someone else can. And when we see what they're able to do, then we're doing it. I mean, just think about it. When babies are little and they see siblings, they want to do what the other sibling is doing. They are influenced by that other sibling. They want to do what they're doing. They want to eat what they eat. They want to play like they play. They even sometimes want to dress like they dress. That's usually how it is. So let's just kind of think about it for a second. There's someone who's influencing you. What color did you dye your hair? What makeup do you wear? What clothes do you wear? What purse do you carry? What wallet do you have? What watch do you have? What shoes do you have? What are you wearing? What do you do? What do you say? What are some of the things that you say a lot? Those are things that come from influencers. It comes from folks who were influenced by. These people you were influenced by, you definitely liked what you saw. You saw something in them that you wanted to be a part of you in what you were doing. So when we think about the power of influence is very important. It does a lot, and it could change the lives of many. So when we think about influence, don't underestimate how influence can be one of those things that can change the face of the world. It could change the community influence. So when you bring proper and positive influence in, then that's one of the things that can help with the way the world is going today. Who's influencing the folks who are doing the wrong? Who's influencing them? Where are they getting that from? Why are they feeling and doing those things? We have to learn and we have to understand influence. Influence is very important. There's people who are going around doing things, and then later on, as it's posted on social media or they lose their jobs, that they are saying they're sorry, or they like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't understand. But when we look at the fact of influence, who influenced them? How are and why are they doing what they're doing? When they especially will say they did not know what they were doing. How were they influenced? Were they influenced in a positive way or a negative way? So these are things that we definitely have to understand. How influence is very powerful, can get some people acting in ways that they say that they never would have acted, they never would have done, and they didn't know and didn't feel that way, but they did it. So what do you say that would be? It has a lot to do with influence. Now, again, it also has a lot to do with what they're subconsciously are feeling anyway. The anger about what are you feeling that you feel that these are things that you want to do? Because the one thing that will happen is that they're angry about something or they're happy about something. So that influence that they get and from the surroundings of people or items or things that they get influenced by. They get influenced by the facade of things. Because sometimes when people get influenced by others, they're not really knowing the real true person. They don't understand if that is really them or if this is really how they portray themselves, even when they're out and about. But sometimes people put on a facade that that's not really them. And then when they're in home at their homes, they do a whole total thing. But you don't see that. You only see what it is that you see that you can connect with because that's something that you have inside of you that you looking for someone else who's doing it as well. So then you connect with them. You are then now influenced. You are influenced because you definitely have a need. When we get influenced, we got to again remember the emotional side. The psychological side of it as well is usually in places where we're lacking some things or we need some needs. We have needs that need to be met. And then we see something that fulfills that need. And then that's when we draw to it. Now, positive or negative, it's still an influence. Now, of course, we would love for people to move in the direction of positivity and not negativity that is going on now. But those influencers that are out there that are making and getting people to do things that later on they will say, I didn't know, I didn't, that's not who I am. No, that's who you are. That's who you are. You did what you did because again, it was meeting a need that you had to be met. Now, can your needs be changed? Yes, your needs can be changed. Your needs can be, switched up really quickly because again, if you're walking, you need a car. So, if you are hungry, you need food. So you have to understand, yes, your needs can be changed at any time. If you're thirsty, guess what? You need water. So sometimes you don't need all of those things at the same time. So when you think about influence, you have to understand that influence comes from a need. There's a need that's going on that that person needs to be filled. So then they are going to be drawn to where the need is being provided. So then they're going to go to that need and they're going to be influenced by it. And as I said, positive or negative, it's still a need that you have. Maybe that need was temporary. It was just there at a time that you probably thought you needed it, but you acted on it because you had a need. And again, as I said, we would love for it to be in a positive way so that, you decide, hey, I had a need to want to be educated. So I'm going to, go get educated by ways of wherever you get that from. You have a need to pay some bills. So what you're going to do is you're going to do something that brings you revenue or income so that you can fulfill that need. I was on this broadcast, and it was an interesting broadcast. It's of a person that, most of us probably know and seen here on social media. And I was watching it, and I was looking in the chat because I always usually look and see what people are talking about, because it just kind of gives me the state of mind of where people are when they're watching information that someone is talking about. And I'm able to kind of just see, like, where people are in real time. Like, what are they thinking? What's the state of their mental state, or like where they are? What are they angry? Are they trying to find something? Are they, just looking for something, or what? So I saw this one young man. He posted something in that per this person's post and like their broadcast, and he said, "I'm waiting." I'm going to start with that and leaving it right there, just with you, just there. And I just, waiting is just not one of my specialties. But patience is. So it's kind of a weird thing. But he said he was waiting for funding so he could do some things that he was going to do. He was waiting. He was waiting to get funded. He was waiting. And, for me at the time, the conversation was talking about going out and creating and developing, finding, not waiting, taking your skills that your own mental state and your own gifts and talents and just things that you have yourself, and going out there and getting it and making things happen. So when the young man said he was waiting, on and how do he get funding? So, I mean, usually I try not to respond to people because, I like to sit in the back and just kind of watch stuff and, move and do what I need to do based on that. But when I saw him, it was live. So I responded to him live, and I said, don't be waiting for no stinking funding. You don't wait for it. I said, go out and create something. I said, go out and raise the money. And, he responded eventually in the chat. So I saw, and he was like, well, how, what? Now, when you get people who are asking you, how do you raise money? Those are times where you really need to sit with them if you are close to them, and sit them down, because they're not ready. And what I mean by that is that you have not, this is where you are. You're right here and you're saying you need something. But it's apparent that your ability to step outside of your need has debilitated you. And you are debilitated by just the need. So what you really need to do is you need to step outside of the need. You need to connect with somebody that isn't caught up in an emotional tie in what you're doing. And you need to talk to them so that they can get the stimulation of the ideas going, because you have them, but you're just influenced by the need. You're just kind of held captive by the need, and it is paralyzing you and debilitating your abilities to get outside of the immediate need. That is why you get people who you go and talk to. You go and talk to mentors or strategists or business folks, or you go to the bank. Whatever it is that you do and how you do it, you are involving someone else outside of you, because they don't have a connection, of emotional connection to what it is that you're doing. So those are the reasons why it's important to do that. So when this young man said that he was waiting and he didn't know exactly what to do, so of course, I took it upon myself because, I have bunches of bright ideas. So, I just kind of told him basic stuff. First of all, what do you do? What do you sell? What do you provide? What service do you provide? And I said, well, you need to go and sell that. Put something together, package it up to a point where somebody needs it. Someone in your surroundings, because somebody needs some of everything. There's somebody right now that need a dishwasher. How many of y'all need a dishwasher? There's somebody who needs a broom right now. There is somebody who needs some butter. Okay, there's somebody who needs it. Do you know how many people there are in this world? There's someone who needs something. They always need something. Things go out, they burn out, they break, they use them. So you have to understand, you go do, whatever his service was. I don't recall him even saying what it was, what he was waiting on the funding for. But you don't wait for the funding, you go get it. You have to go out and get it. You have to stimulate it, whatever it is. If you're going to wait for a grant, no one's saying not to do that. But you need to also get out there and go get something. What are you selling? What are you providing? What are you doing? What are you putting out so that people can see it or want it or have it? Don't underestimate your ability to create your own abundance. Be able to create it. Do not sit and wait for things. So don't let the influence of the need, get you to the point where you're debilitated. So the power of influence is very important. So keep in mind the emotional ties and connection to the power of influence, the ability that it comes from a need. When you have a need, usually that's what's going to influence you because you need to fill that need. You want to look a certain way. You see someone who looks the way that you like. That's a need. You go and you follow that and it influences you. And then you go. Are you angry? To take it to the other side, you angry. And you're angry for whatever set reason. Sometimes we need to stop and figure out what you angry for. What are you really angry about? And to what degree, who's responsible for it? Other people are not responsible for some of the anger that you're having. So just kind of keep that in mind. We got messages. Hi, Judy St. Pierre. Judy St. Pierre. How you doing, Judy St. Pierre? We haven't seen you in a long time. We miss you. It's good to see you today. So I thank all of you guys for coming. We're going to be chiming out of here because we got to move on to the second shift of my day. So thank all of you guys. Today, of course, is Women in Alignment. And just to remind you guys that Survive and Thrive is October 9th and 10th. We are going virtual by way of Baltimore because that is where we were going. We were going to be in Baltimore, but COVID came and stopped that. No one's going to be trying to have anyone out that and have to create a whole lot of issues where something happens. And that's the last thing I would want to happen or to myself. So definitely looking at, compromised immune systems, definitely right here. So I definitely appreciate all of you guys who are coming. Be sure that you go and you get your tickets for Survive and Thrive. The 2-day conference is going to be October 9th and 10th. The tickets are only $35 for the 2-day and $25 for 1 day. We're going to have a panel of experts who are going to be bringing you information about mindset, health, wealth, and recovery. So it doesn't have anything necessarily only to do with cancer or recovery of that degree, but we are going to have that as our influence. But this is all about just the information that everybody needs. So do not get yourself a ticket. Get yourself a ticket so that you can definitely get the information and be informed. We're going to have a returning speaker for sure, Dr. Manvi. She is a holistic doctor. She'll be able to answer your questions about holistic medicine. And if you want to find out more, our next goal is, of course, to have the lovely Sass Edwards, who was just at our conference, and we flew her all the way down here from France, Toulouse. Okay, Toulouse. So she came all the way from Toulouse, France, to come here and speak with us here. And when we did our conference last year in Houston, and we're going to have her by way of virtuality, and it's going to be cool. So again, she is our recovery of how to get your body back right, how to have that recovery mode, how to be able to mentally recover. So this is all about recovery. It's recovery to all types of degrees. It's not just about cancer, but of course we are going to be providing that information. If you are a cancer survivor or if you know one, this is the conference for them. They need to be here so that they can see that there are others just like them, men, women, and children, believe it or not, and pets. So we want to extend that offer out to you guys. You can go to Eventbrite and you can also check it. It's under the fourth annual Survive and Thrive Cancer Recovery Conference. Or you can visit our website at www.surviveandthrivecr.org and get more information. So we definitely want you to be there. We got room for you if you'd like to be a sponsor. You can sponsor at whatever level that you are able to do, because all your support helps to be able to raise funds, again, raise funds so that we can support cancer survivors, helping them get their life back by covering the cost of their copay so that they can thrive and they do not have to forego treatment because they don't have the copays. So we definitely want you guys to find out more. Be sure to go and check us out over there on our Facebook page as well. You can go to Survive and Thrive CR and you can see it under Facebook. You can also visit, again, our website at www.surviveandthrivecr.org. So thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful morning, and I will see you guys later for Women in Alignment Wednesday, the power of influence after dark. Bye-bye, you guys.